Good morning, everybody out there in my audience this morning. It's this Talk with Kids, Tell My Story Month. This is the CCA, the Community Care Advocate, Alicia Bob. I'm here today because I want to address some issues that I believe is very, very, very important to address. Give me one moment. Today we are going to be talking about emotional abuse. What will it do to your life? Destructive behavior and pain. Heal now. Emotional abuse. It have affected millions and millions and millions of people all over the world. Millions are being affected right now from one generation to the next generation, to one generation to the next generation. Millions are being affected. Millions of lives are being destroyed today. Millions of lives are being taken today due to emotional childhood abuse. Millions of people all over the earth are committing suicide because of emotional childhood abuse. Millions of people all over the world are hurting, neglecting their children and raping their kids and hurting their children and killing their children and killing their wives, killing their husbands, killing their friends. And the list go on and on and on because of emotional childhood abuse. This is one of the number one killers. Not only killer of regular killing, yes, a lot of murders are being taken, lives are being taken every day, every second of the day. Lives, thousands of lives, hundreds of lives are being taken every day due to the fact of childhood emotional abuse. Whether it's with a gun, whether it's with through abuse, through rape, through kidnapping, through whatever means, physically, or mentally, people are being, individuals are either part of this destructive behavior that's been going on since the world has been existed. It's millions of people's lives are being destroyed today. And to make it so bad, to make it so um, unbelievable, there's no awareness of it. There's no one talking about it much. You don't see too many YouTube videos on childhood emotional abuse or emotional abuse. You can be abused as an adult also. You don't have to be a child. You got adult emotional abuse as well as you have childhood emotional abuse. But this is the number one silent killer, I believe, in this world. Because it takes so many lives It takes so many lives. It takes so many people down mentally, physically. It takes so many lives. People are so very unhappy today. So very unhappy. They can't figure out why they are so happy and why is this going on in their life and why am I still alone and why I'm not happy and why I have so much anxiety and why am I so fearful and why can I get my life together? Why can't I feel love? Why don't nobody love me? Why don't nobody want to help me? Why don't nobody care about me? Why? It's because of childhood. That's when it began. Childhood emotional abuse. This is Talk for Kids. Tell my story, mommy. We dedicate this life lesson today to my beautiful, beautiful daughter, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful daughter, my precious black baby. We dedicate it to her. She's so strong. She's strong. She's so strong. She went through so much emotional childhood abuse. But yet she still loved it. She still love. Her hands is extended out to whoever need her today. So childhood emotional abuse. Everybody been abused. Your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, your uncles. Everybody have been abused in this world. And that's why the world is the way that it is. And the people in the world are the way that they are. Is because they have been emotionally traumatized. It's a killer. It is a killer. It is taking so many people down today. So many. You can read story after story after story after story after story of the lies of this destructive disorder, emotional abuse. Because the reason that it's so destructive and the reason that it is so detrimental is because it deals with every part of your life. It deals with your happiness. It deals with the way you look at yourself. It deals with the way you look at other people. It deals with the way you think about yourself, the way you think about other people, the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about others. It deals with all your emotions, all of your emotions, every emotion that you have. It deals with that. Love. Don't nobody know how to love. Don't nobody even know what the word love is. Because you never received love. You never received love from anyone. Who have you ever received love from? Who? Tell me. I'm talking about love that unconditional love. Love is an emotion that don't hurt you. It don't hurt you. When you in a relationship, when you know your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your family members, how do you know when they really love you? It's that the fact that they would never ever do anything to hurt you, and they would never ever do anything to make you feel bad, and they would never ever 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 reject you or overlook you or criticize you or judge you. No. So it deals with every part of your life. It's emotional abuse. Emotional. You don't, and when you have been emotional abused, and everybody have been in this world, when you have been emotional abused, you don't know how to love yourself. You don't know how to love others. You don't know how to treat yourself. You don't know how to respect. You know absolutely nothing. All you know is the trauma of your childhood. That's all you know. That's the only way you know how to respond to people and situations is through your childhood trauma, where the emotional abuse starts. It starts in your child. And this is how you are plan your life out. It's a destructive behavior, so very so very destructive. And the thing with childhood emotional abuse or emotional abuse is the fact that you think that you are right. You think that you are right. The way you responded to yourself, the way you responded to people, the way you responded to your children, the way you responded to anybody. You think that you are right. You feel that there is nothing wrong with you because you can't see yourself because you are buried. You have buried your life. You have buried your heart. You have buried your mind. You have buried your soul. You have buried everything under this abuse, this emotional abuse. You have buried yourself. Everything about you is buried. Everything. Everything. And you think this is the way I am. This is the way I am. This is the way I am. I want to be alone. I don't want to get married, and I don't want to be in a relationship. And it's just the way you feel that you are, but you are not the way. It's the emotional abuse, the trauma that you are feeling in your life. And I'm here today to tell you that it's time to heal now. It's time to heal now. Because if you don't heal now, what's going to happen to you? What is going to happen to you? What is going to happen to your children? What is going to happen to your children? The same thing that happened to you. Traumatized, abused, neglected, abandoned, rejected, overlooked, no love, no support, no affection, no. This is what's going on. This is what's going on today. I've been looking at the YouTube videos I've been looking at the YouTube videos and I've been seeing there's so many men and women, they murdering each other. They killing each other over little stupid, little simple, ridiculous things. One man, he said one man married his wife and 3 days later he killed her, murdered her. You know, it's unbelievable how this emotional abuse is destroying so many people. And everybody want to talk about relationships on YouTube. You know, how to get a man, how to get a woman, and what you got to do. None of those things are important. Because when you get a man and when you get a woman, you will not be able to operate with them. You will not be able to deal with them. You will not be able to coincide with them. You're just going to destroy them and you're going to destroy yourself, continue to destroy yourself and destroy whoever, because they destroyed too. They've been through the emotional abuse as children. Nothing is healthy here. Nothing is whole. Nothing is happy. Everybody and their mama is miserable and tore up and blowed up and messed up mentally, emotionally, and physically. I never in my life saw so much destruction, so much destruction that I see today in this world. It's unbelievable how much pain and destruction and misery and lack of love, lack of hope, no confidence, no nothing. All you know is all you know is the pain. That's all you know. So I wanted to come on real quick and just talk. Talk for Black Beauty. My little daughter have recovered. She have recovered herself from childhood emotional abuse. She's in recovery. She's a survivor. She survived it. She survived it. She survived. You know how many little Black beauties that we have in the world that haven't survived, that have grown up now, they grown now, they 20 years old, 30 years old, 80 years old, but never dealt with their child. They just buried it. And the more you bury it, the more you bury yourself. The more you bury yourself, the more anger you're going to have, the more resentment you're going to have, the more frustration you're going to have, the more misery you're going to have. I mean, you just look up, you 50 years old, you 60. You've been carrying all of this emotional abuse since you was a little girl and a little boy. Please stay out the lives of other people. Please don't go into no relationship with no one. Not until you go into a relationship with your own self to heal your trauma. Don't try to get married. Don't try to have a boyfriend. Don't try to have a girlfriend. Don't even have no children. Don't have any children until you deal with your emotional pain and trauma that you went through as a child. You can't have a relationship. You don't know how to treat nobody. You don't know how to love anybody. You don't know how to accept anybody. You don't know how to respect anyone. You don't know how to be considerate to anyone. You don't know how to have admiration for anyone. You don't know how to trust anyone. How are you going to be in a relationship with someone when you lack all of those things? You cannot. You cannot. You cannot. I saw a video, and this lady, she was a sergeant, not a sergeant. She was a sheriff. She was a deputy sheriff, black lady, right? Black lady, her 30s, 40 years old, and she was married to this black man. And the video said that this woman had so much abuse. She abused her husband so very bad. She had full control over him. She told him what he could eat. She told him what he could wear, what he couldn't wear. He wasn't allowed to do nothing that she didn't want him to do. He was being abused emotionally, mentally, and physically abused by her. And she was a deputy sheriff. Abused. See how people try to, they try to go on with their life. They try to go on with their life. They try to be lawyers and doctors and sheriffs and police officers and nurses and counselors and therapists and pastors and, you know, they try to go on with their life. But you cannot go on with your life when you've been through childhood, mental, physical, and emotional abuse. You cannot go on with your life. You cannot. You can try, and millions of people have tried to go on with their life. But what they find out as they continue to go on and ignore the fact, to ignore the fact, to ignore the pain, to ignore the trauma, to ignore everything that they went through as a child, when they try to go on with their life, they make shipwrecks of their lives and the lives of anybody that come in contact with anybody. You can't love nobody. You can't. You never felt it. Love is the emotion that you did not get growing up. From your mom, from your dad, from your sister, from your brother, from your friends. No one. No one. You didn't get no love. So how are you going to love someone when you never understood what love is and you never received it from anyone? You don't know how to love a husband. You don't know how to love a wife. You don't know how to love a boyfriend and a girl. You're only going to abuse them. You're only going to hurt them. You're gonna only destroy. That's what you're gonna do. That's exactly what you will do. You can't admire them. No one never admired you. You was talked about, criticized, rejected, told that you was never gonna be nothing. You never was gonna mount up to anything. You lazy, you fat, you ugly, you black, you this, you that. How are you gonna admire someone with admiration when you never ever understood the expression of admiration? You can't give anyone something that you don't have or something that you don't understand. You can't give it to anyone. You have to understand what admiration is, what love is, what respect is. How you gonna respect someone when you never got no respect from anyone? Never, never. You don't even know what respect is. You don't know. How are you going to communicate with someone when you was always in a room somewhere closed away from everyone? Everyone in your house, you just close yourself away in one area of the house, in the room. How are you going to communicate with a husband and a wife and anybody? You don't know how to communicate. So when you get in these relationships with other people, your communication be harsh towards them. Harsh. You call them names. You criticize them. You judge them. You put them down. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to talk to them. Please, I'm telling you, you cannot be with anyone until you learn how to be with yourself. You got to heal first, like Black Beauty. Black Beauty had to heal. She had to heal. She had to go back to all that childhood trauma and all that childhood pain and all that childhood destruction that she went through. And she had to pull all of it out of the closet and deal with it and deal with it. Now Black Beauty, she can deal with people. She can deal with people because now she understand. She understand now when she's in the presence of somebody that's been traumatized and somebody that's been emotionally abused as a child. She can deal with it because she can understand the behaviors and the character and the personalities of these people. She understand now. She understand if she go in a relationship with somebody that's been neglected. Okay, she understands. She know that. She know that behavior. She don't judge them. She don't criticize them. She just look and see, say, okay, it's not really them. It's the childhood trauma that they went through. It's not really them. It's not really them. It's the trauma. It's the emotional abuse. It's the physical and the mental abuse that they went through as children. This is not Pam. This is not Joe. This is not Steve. This is not Bob. This is not Molly. This is not Mayaya. This is not Kate Dyer. This is not them. This is the abuse. Until you heal yourself, till you secure your own childhood wounds and deal with yourself and understand yourself and love yourself, until you do all of that, you cannot. You cannot. I don't care how much you women put on weaves, how much you women put on makeup, how much you women put BBLs and, get all kind of plastic surgeries done to your body. It doesn't matter what you do to try to fix yourself up, because under all that stuff that you got on, your blue hair, your green hair, your pink hair, your orange hair, and all that stuff that you got on, your mini skirts and your Louis Vuitton purses and and all that stuff that you got on is a broken, broken, abandoned, rejected, abused, mental, physical, emotional little girl out of all that stuff that you got on. You still 7, 8 years old. You're not even there. You're not even there. And that's why now today when the women wearing all this is not attractive to the men. The men not even paying that no attention anymore. Why? Because see, they broken and they abused and they rejected and abandoned also. That don't help them. They need what they are looking for. They looking for someone that can help them to figure out their life, to help them to figure out why my life the way it is. Why am I feeling this way? Why is this going on? Why is that happening to me? What do I need to do about this? What do I need to do about this loneliness? What do I need to do about this uh, emotionally unavailable behavior that I have? What do I need to do about this avoidant, this fearful, dismissive, avoidant behavior that I have? They looking for a woman now. They looking for a woman. They looking for someone that has already been healed, like Black Beauty. They need men and women. They need someone that has already been healed, like Black Beauty. Because only people like Black Beauty can deal and help and understand people that's going through the trauma. So you dressing yourself up, putting all that stuff on and makeup on, that's not doing anything. You can hide the pain. You cannot hide the pain. You cannot hide the abuse. You cannot hide the fact that you are crazy. You can't hide the fact that you are crazy, that you're gone. You can't hide it. That you're emotional. You're emotional. And that's why men always talk about women are so emotional. Yes, they're emotional because of the childhood trauma. That's why. That's why they're emotional. It got everything to do with their childhood trauma. And what is wrong with men? Emotionally unavailable. You got the women are emotional and the men are emotionally unavailable. How is that going to work? One is emotional and the other one is emotional unavailable. That's not going to work. That's not going to work because you got the women that's emotional and they need a lot of love, they need a lot of support, they need a lot of hugs and kisses, and a man to tell them how beautiful they is. A man to look at them all day, give them a lot of sex, give them a lot of everything, okay? Because they emotional from their childhood trauma. They didn't get none of that when they was growing up. And then you got the men that's emotionally unavailable. So the more the women crying and complaining and murmuring and all this to the man, he just shut down. He shut down. He shut down because he's emotionally unavailable. So it doesn't matter how much you complain. It doesn't matter how much you cry. It doesn't matter how much you say you need him and you want him. You need him to do this for you and do that for you. It doesn't matter because he's emotionally unavailable since he's been a child. That's how he dealt with emotions. That's how he dealt with emotions. That's what his mom. Every time he went to his mom and his dad, they overlooked his emotions. Go to your room and be a little boy, man up. Boys don't cry, stuff like that. So they can't do anything to make you feel good, and you can't do anything to make them feel good. So this is why they get in relationships and they hurt each other. Physically, they hurt each other, take each other's lives. Mentally, they hurt each other. So it's time to heal now. It's time to heal. And you gotta want to be healed. And if you don't want to be healed, if you don't want to be healed, you don't want to deal with what you have been through as a child, you'll never be happy. You'll never find happiness. You'll never find peace. You'll never find love. You'll never find anything in your life. You will always be fearful. You will always have lack of confidence. You know, you will never, ever, ever find true happiness until you deal with your childhood emotional abuse. I healed my daughter because I'm healed to myself. So if you want to be healed, if you want to be healed, I know how to walk the steps and the process to help you to subscribe, like the video. Talk to y'all later, next time. Black Beauty.